I speak truly. The mind is composed of three natures. These are the lower, the higher, and the middle. You have heard it said that one must avoid the lower and embrace the higher. I speak truly. Every religious or philosophical system that has tried to eliminate or ignore the lower nature has failed, and every religious or philosophical system that has tried to attain only the higher has become a tool of the tyranny. Your lower nature is the ruler of all the emotions and practical needs that are required to survive. Without the lower nature, you would never save wealth to pass on to your children, build a home for shelter, or take a mate. Many are uncomfortable with the lower nature, for they feel that its tools of aggression, lust, and ambition stain their minds. I speak truly, there is nothing shameful or sinful in the lower nature. The lower nature is also a place of rest. Here are the attractions to the things that bring joy in the form of good food, good company, and joyful gatherings. To those obsessed with the higher nature, the lower nature seems a place of sloth and license. I speak truly. The lower nature is a place of rest. Neglect it not, nor become resistant to it, nor should you let it rule. The higher nature is the ruler of all the emotions and spiritual needs that are required to survive. Without the higher nature, we would never give our wealth to someone we sense needs aid, and will not waste it, nor impart our lessons to those who we sense are ready to hear them, nor seek out a companion with which to spend our lives. Many are uncomfortable with the higher nature, for they feel its tools of orderliness, idealism, and spirituality to be impractical and judgmental. I speak truly. There is nothing useless or tyrannical in the higher nature. The higher nature is a place of inspiration. Here are the attractions to the things that bring joy in the form of tradition, ceremony, and practice. To those obsessed with the lower nature, the higher nature seems a place of enslavement and prejudice. I speak truly. The higher nature is a place of vision and magic. Neglect it not, nor become resistant to it, nor should you let it rule. The middle nature is the ruler of all the interactions of the higher and the lower. It is the ruler of all action with the world without you, with others, and with your endeavors. It sits upon the throne of your character. At its left, the lower nature gives counsel. At its right, the higher nature gives counsel. It is helpful to see them as the mates of the ruler. They can advise, but not decide. The middle nature is easy to neglect. Its work is arduous and demanding, and thus it is tempting to flee into the company of the higher or the lower. I speak truly. The middle nature is where you live. There is nowhere else you can permanently reside. As the mates each attempt to sway the ruler, you must give to each their due, and yet not become distracted from your work and living. Nor can you neglect the mates, or they will abandon the work of the ruler. Thus, the successful ruler is one who gives each of his natures what they need, not what they demand, and focuses them to their task, not what they may desire, and evaluates and adjusts the work so that all three natures are healthy and content. I speak truly. Ruling yourself is the greatest work you shall ever undertake. True self-mastery is your goal. These are the signs of true self-mastery: that you feel what you ought to feel, and none can make you feel anything harmful. That you think what you ought to think, and none can make you think anything harmful. That you do what you ought to do, and none can persuade you to do anything harmful. That you have no resistance to these tasks, and that your mind does not betray your work.